From Vancouver to Halifax, Flin Flon to Estevan, he's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Howdy, and welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show, everybody, on a Wednesday, July 17th, episode number 33 of the Rod Pedersen Show. This is hour one. We're coming to you from the bunker on a cloudy day here on Canada's bald prairies. Rod Pedersen here, Darren DuPont there. If I'm Fred, he's Barney.
Okay, yeah.
Derek Duke Myers is here from Oil Country. How you doing, Duke?
I had to swim in this morning.
Yeah, did you? We all did.
Yeah,
we all did.
It was great. Nice rain.
I was going to get to this in a minute, but I'll get to it now. You guys were asking if I was driving Big Bird today.
Yeah, I wondered.
Big Bird had a sleepover last night. First time in a long time. My very best friend from childhood, who you know for sure, Duke, Christopher Ronald Winkler. Chris Winkler, the all-time leading scorer in Kindersley Clippers history and an SJHL Hall of Famer, was in town. And we went for supper. He said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Let's go to Bonzini's." Bonzo's.
Nice spot.
Well, always great, but I walk in there and it's jammed. And it just started to spit as I was racing around Ring Road.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, I got to hurry and get there, and we'll wait out this rain. Not so much. It hammered the city last night.
You didn't have the top one.
I don't have a top.
Yeah, I figured.
When I bought that thing, the guy, Dan Del Schneider, is probably watching this morning. I was ripping off his lot with Big Bird, and he goes, "Hey, I got a hard top here." I said, "I'll come back when the snow flies." Never came back. Don't have the hard top. So here's the funny thing. People were taking pictures of Big Bird last night, putting them on social media, sending them to me, and they're saying, "Is that your Jeep in the rain?"
Did she drown?
I didn't go there. It's still there. That's the funny point.
You didn't even stop by this morning to see if it would turn over?
No, nobody's going to steal Big Bird.
It's like a camper at Craven that people just leave behind.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. It's dead.
How are we going to get this out? We're not.
Yeah, we're leaving it here. No, so I'll go by after the show today. Thank you, Bonzini's, for the parking spot overnight. And but it was jammed in there. It was packed.
Always.
Well, it was wing night. They had a fire in the back, so they said it's going to be 20 to 25 minutes till the wings are ready. They had a fire, but they got it fixed, ready to go, tickety-boo. And what I loved was the Ray Elgard jersey over the bar.
Symbolic?
Just old school.
It's, and I will say this, and there's many establishments that do this, but we've had several a fundraiser for my daughter's soccer team at Bonzini's, and, burger and a beer or whatever. It's always great. Always great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I loved those wings last night. Had the great visit with Chris, who's watching this morning.
My boy Murray Kittleson, who played with Winkler in Kindersley in that first season, he said he'd never seen a guy who couldn't skate but could not score when you got him the puck. He goes, I played with Winkler. The guy couldn't skate, and he scored 50 goals.
Terrible skater. Terrible. Couldn't carry the puck in a bucket. But if he had it within 5 feet of the net, he could skate back to center.
Yeah, that's what Kitty would say, too.
There's no doubt. And we grew up together and still best friends.
Scored a few goals on you in practice or what?
No, not at all. Well, when it's your best friend, you dig down deeper.
Yeah,
you try harder.
Something.
I'll never forget, you guys remember Dmitri Nabokov? He just passed away here within the last couple of months. When he was the first round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks, he was playing for the Pats. I used to practice with the team back then. And we called him Nabby. And he'd line up 10 pucks in the slot, and he said, 10 shots, 10 goals on me. And I think the most he got was 5. I thought that was pretty good. Horrible save percentage at 500, but for an NHL first rounder, for a kid from Milestone, Saskatchewan, I was pretty happy
That's
with
a coin flip. You'd take it.
It was a 50-50 shot, like my life.
You'd take
Anyways, coming up on today's show, the CFL on TSN's Dustin Nielsen. He also have TSN 1260 Radio Edmonton. We actually do have things to talk about with him, not to mention their Summer of George bracket, which is running. You love that already,
Yeah,
Dupes?
it's great.
Braden Muskowee, curling legend Braden Muskowee. And I know you, Darren, are very impressed by the people that are starting to follow our accounts from all different, certainly the broadcast industry. They were some of the first. But the curling people are all over us now. There'll be a lot of curling talk here. We're talking about sports that Western Canadians care about, okay? On this program, CFL, which we'll get to. Boy, are we going to get to the CFL here in the warm-up. Trust me. Stampeders blogger Ryan Ballantyne. John Chick will be on the show today. And the aforementioned Braden Muskowee. Producer Clarke telling me to mention that for those viewing on Facebook Live this morning, tag 5 of your friends in the comments section who need to watch this show. That'll love it. That's a beauty, Clarke. That's a great thing. Tag your friends, because that's the only way that this show's going to grow. So hello to everybody watching on Facebook Live. Hello to those listening, listen live. Hello to the farmers in the field, although there aren't many right now, I don't think.
But also Ag in Motion.
Also the ships at sea. Hello to everybody at Ag in Motion in Saskatoon. I'm getting a lot of messages from people up there.
Yeah,
it's going really well. Yeah,
it looks amazing. That looks like an amazing farm
I
show.
know people that go and camp at Ag in Motion. Marcel.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys both know Marcel.
Yes.
He's camping there.
Of course
Really?
he is.
Make a holiday out of a farm show.
I assume he's on the trip to Houston.
Well, we're trying to sell him on it.
He should.
Yeah, of course he should.
He's a mainstay. Was he not on the? Was he on the first one?
No.
When we went to Phoenix, he was not.
No, but he was on the next one.
He was on the next one,
To
then.
Dallas.
To Dallas,
Where
okay.
we almost
Oh, yeah.
died.
What did our guy say? You can't be on every trip if you don't make the first one.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good line, Yogi Berra.
Continuing on, let's get to I just got to say the Facebook app challenge. I've loved. I'm looking at you right now, DuPont, and all I can think of
the FaceApp
is what I call it.
Facebook.
Yeah, the FaceApp challenge is you.
Yes.
Everybody says you look like Donald Sutherland. Can you call that up, Clarke, for those that didn't see it?
I could buy that
on our social media.
Yeah, I could buy Donald
I thought
Sutherland.
he looked like Don Johnson from Nash Bridges.
I love that show.
Not Miami Vice Don Johnson, Nash Bridges Don Johnson. And mine was a dead ringer from my dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spitting image. As a matter of fact, my family, Clarke was saying, was writing into our social media feed saying, "Hello, JWP, Jim William Pedersen."
Clarke, while you're doing that, I did find the picture of you and your dad last night, not on your Facebook feed, but on your Twitter feed. So, Clarke, go to Rod's Twitter feed, click Media, and scroll down Father's Day. You posted one of you and your dad wearing your Pats gear. Remember?
We're going to a Pats game.
Yeah, and that's more recent. It's a good one.
But first, the FaceApp challenge, if he can find it. You said, Derek, you're sick of the FaceApp. I'm not sick of it at all. From the minute I saw it, I loved it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are doing it with Andrew Harris. That was funny. You got to see Chris Getzlaff's this morning with him and Rob Bagg with their arm around each other in the locker room. I'm like, alumni! They both look like they're 60 years old or older. And you don't like it, Derek.
Why are we in such a rush to be old?
It's an app. It's fun. Have you ever heard of fun?
Yeah, I have fun. I golf.
The best one I've seen was Gordon Ramsay, Chef
Haven't
Gordon
seen
Ramsay.
that
And,
one.
seen that
and he's
one.
like me doing a guest spot on MasterChef season 50. And it was pretty good. But it looks so real. It looks so
They
real.
are. Some of them are amazing. I've seen some that Sarah Spain from ESPN's. It was really good. The entire CTV Calgary Morning Show did it. Terry Fikowski was a good friend of ours who Rider fans would remember from last year as the in-house announcer, hype gal. Their whole crew did it on the desk together, and it reminds me of, and this is why I kind of am like, meh, Back to the Future Part 2, when they go into the future and they see their older selves. I'm like, didn't we do this like literally 20 years ago, 20
Yeah, that's
plus
the
years
point.
ago?
It was 20 plus years ago.
But we love that
Get
stuff.
with it.
Nostalgia. We love it.
Yeah, no, vintage.
I just feel like it's not that new, but everybody now is clamping onto it because we saw old Elizabeth Shue,
Well.
we saw old Michael J. Fox. I know
I like Elizabeth Shue. How's she look?
she looked. Do you remember Back to the Future too?
Yeah.
I mean,
but that was a long time ago.
Adventures in Babysitting is emblazoned in my brain.
You have to remember how old you. Oh, Leaving Las Vegas is emblazoned.
That was a good one too, and The Saint. She was in The Saint.
Okay,
with
here
Val
it
Kilmer.
is. Producer Clarke has found it. Our FaceApp challenge. There it is from yesterday. DuPont just. Mike Abu-Meshrik said DuPont's going to get a lot of tail
have
when
some
he's older.
friends.
Clarke, can you blow it up on our screen in the studio?
Oh, you can see it fine,
I know,
Darren.
but-
Quit being so picky.
For Duke.
Oh,
there you go. See?
Oh, I've seen it.
That is my dad. That's my dad.
But that is Donald Sutherland.
That
That could be Donald Sutherland and JFK.
What
when
did
they, when they
Walker
meet
say?
in Washington.
What did
Andrew Walker said, "Why do you have Jason Sudeikis on your show? And then why did you have Donald Sutherland on your show?" Thank you, Andrew Walker, who we got to get on our list of guests on this program. Maybe. Oh, he's working on it, he says.
Where's he,
Particularly, he is
Joseph?
Sportsnet 650 Vancouver radio.
Benga.
Where's he from? Beer,
Beer,
Saskatchewan.
yeah.
Tiny Beer, Saskatchewan, which I I get in trouble every time. I don't think it exists anymore. And then somebody inevitably tweets at me from Beer Saskatchewan. Says, we're not dead yet.
Isn't that where Pickle Stab's down from near there? He's
Tork Wade. He's from Tork Wade.
Well, Beer's close to that, isn't it? I believe. Yeah, it is, because him and Walker are
that's
buddies.
where they got to be friends.
Yeah,
yes.
they're buddies.
Tork Wade Bar. I'll tell you a story about that place one time.
I
can tell you a lot of stories about the Tork Wade Bar.
Went in there with a but I went in there with the Milestone Flyers with my brother's ID, which I was 16. That would have made him 22.
Playing the Tork Wade
They didn't
Lions.
even look at it. Played the Lions, and it was after the game, and I was behind the bar serving drinks. I was 16.
That's a good. You know what?
You wonder why it turned out the way I did.
That is a great town. The Marcotts, the
Schlamps,
the Kevin Kuntz. I mean, they had some
Schonsbe's,
really good hockey players down in Tork
to the
Wade.
sports. Word out of Calgary this morning, and when I talk like this, you know where I'm getting it from. John Lynch says the word out of Calgary is that, and this is not from the team, this is from the fans, they're ready to move on from Levi Mitchell because he's too expensive, and Nick Arbuckle is the quarterback of the future, and they're paying Levi too much. Of course, he's not going to be playing this week when they take on the Toronto Argonauts, nor does he need to. Fatty Arbuckle is going to look like Joe Montana against the Argos on Thursday night, right? And so let's just say it's true, because that's what sports talk is for, playing the what-if game. Let's just say they want to move on from Levi Mitchell and the rumored $700,000 a year they're paying him. Do the Riders make the trade for Levi Mitchell? You tried to get him in February and were rebuffed.
But was it close? Was he impressed?
I don't know about that. Doesn't matter. Things change.
Yeah.
Welcome to sports where things change fast. That was the poll question that I wanted initially for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, but I had, should the Riders trade for Levi Mitchell? But I didn't want to put it up until we investigated this a little more. But I see that you guys are thinking about it, because let's say John Huffnagel sends out a fax across the CFL, like the way they used to do it, and said, this guy's available for trade. That's the way it used to happen. Levi Mitchell's available for trade. Are you ripping that off and making the deal if you're Jeremy O'Day?
It's like a car auction.
Well, that's the way it used to be.
You honestly have got to kick the tires. You have got to investigate it. He is one of and it depends where you want to argue, but he's unarguably one of the top 3 players in this league. I think without question.
He's a reigning MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're doing your job if you don't at least look into it. How much do you offer? I mean, I guess it depends on how bad they want to move him. I'm not selling the farm for the guy, but certainly I'm looking into it. The contract doesn't scare me. That's not an issue for me.
But if you look at the BC Lions and with their big ticket quarterback and how it's not worked out for them.
They built that team wrong. They never have, in the last 3 or 4 years, it doesn't matter who you are. God himself could take snaps behind that offensive line and not be successful. and we've been saying it for years that offensive line is terrible, and they have been terrible. And so it doesn't matter that they brought in Mike. They refused, or haven't, I guess, invest in the offensive line. I think the offensive line here is good.
Yep.
Above average. So you don't have to put that investment in. Calgary built it backwards. I mean, that's like trying to build
BC built it backwards.
Sorry, BC built it backwards. That's like trying to build a skyscraper from the top down. It doesn't work that way. You've got to have a foundation. And they never had the foundation. They just thought they'd plug in this flashy new
Right, but
piece.
the Riders were in the running at one time for some of these high-priced quarterbacks.
But they have the foundation built. They have an offensive line, and they've got an all-star caliber running back. So you can now go out and get that.
But
piece.
if you did acquire him in a trade, you'd have to start throwing guys overboard.
Yes, because once he decided not to come here, you start spending that money somewhere else. There's not just $700,000 lying around in the cap. I could think of where
there's a lot of money sitting around on the 6 scheme.
But there is some money sitting there.
We can't cut an injured player, so nor does his salary count to the cap anyways.
No, but how injured is he? Could he be back? Could you trade him?
Once he's healthy.
Could you trade him as a backup?
I feel like we have just scratched the surface on a lot of things to talk about today. Clarke says that he's got a photo of my dad Thank you, Clarke. Throw that up if you don't mind. This came up from our FaceApp challenge yesterday. There's the old guy. There's a family photo from a couple years ago from the Travelodge South. It is...
the Cowboys wearing pink.
Yeah, my old shirt. My brother, this is what...
Tough enough to wear pink is a big...
Put the old photo back up there, Clarke. The guy in the middle, who never misses a show, he's either listening or watching this morning, is the Cowboy, CCA champion, steer wrestler, team roper, blah, blah, blah. He takes all my old clothes, and his wife calls them hand-me-ups. Here's your latest hand-me-ups because they're nicer clothes than you have. So he always makes fun of the clothes that I wear, like a pink golf shirt. And I said, yeah, well, in a couple of years when I drop them off in a garbage bag at your house, you'll like them then, when they're out of style. So yeah, the hand-me-ups. I like that. That's from Dr. Tracy Pedersen. We will break. This has been the warm-up. We're off to a rollicking start.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.